Every winter, millions of homes repeat the same mistake, and it shows up first in the body and then in the walls. Persistent coughing that just won't go away. Tight, dry lungs that feel irritated no matter how much water you drink. Cold rooms that somehow, smell damp. Walls that sweat, corners that darken, and mold that appears where it never used to. Most people blame age, allergies, or just winter air. But that explanation is wrong. The real issue is how modern homes handle air during cold months, and it's something older households understood instinctively long before central heating and sealed construction became the norm. The mistake is trapping stale, moisture-imbalanced air indoors while heating it aggressively. After 50, the lungs become less tolerant of dryness and particulate buildup, and the immune system reacts faster to irritation. What feels like a seasonal cough is often a mechanical problem created by how the house is being heated and sealed. The problem begins when warm air is trapped without controlled exchange. Modern winter living encourages sealing every gap, closing every vent, and running heat constantly. Warm air holds more moisture than cold air, but when that warm air has nowhere to move, humidity concentrates in the wrong places. The air near ceilings dries out rapidly from heat, while moisture condenses on cold surfaces like exterior walls, window frames, and corners behind furniture. This imbalance dries the respiratory tract while feeding dampness into the structure itself. Historically, homes were never airtight. That was not a flaw. It was a deliberate function. Older houses leaked air slowly and continuously through chimneys, vents, loose windows, and porous materials. Warm air rose and exited. Cooler, drier air entered at floor level. This constant exchange prevented moisture stagnation and kept interior air breathable even during long winters. When that exchange disappears, the body suffers first. Dry, heated air strips moisture from nasal passages and bronchial tissue. Cilia in the lungs become less effective. Irritants linger longer. Coughing becomes chronic. At the same time, water vapor from breathing, cooking, and washing accumulates invisibly and settles into walls. Before electric humidifiers and mechanical ventilation, winter homes relied on deliberate airflow management. Fires were burned hot, but not continuously smoldering. Chimneys were left open even when fires were low, allowing vertical airflow. Interior doors were often left cracked, not closed tightly, to allow pressure equalization. Windows were briefly opened daily, even in freezing temperatures, to flush stale air and reset humidity levels. This was not comfort behavior, it was maintenance behavior. People understood that bad air made them sick and damp walls rotted houses. A few minutes of cold air exchange was preferable to weeks of coughing and structural decay. In rural homes and farmhouses, air bricks, vented crawl spaces, and unsealed attics allowed moisture to escape upward. Thick materials like plaster, lime wash, and brick absorbed and released humidity gradually, preventing condensation from pooling in one place. Why dry lungs and damp walls appear at the same time? Dry lungs and damp walls seem like opposites, but they are symptoms of the same imbalance. Overheated air pulls moisture from the body faster than it can be replaced, especially during sleep. Meanwhile, that same moisture ends up on colder surfaces where it condenses. The air feels dry to breathe, but is actually carrying too much vapor in suspension. This is why adding a humidifier without fixing airflow often makes the problem worse. You may feel temporary relief in the throat while feeding moisture into walls, window frames, and insulation. So, here's how you can correct that mistake using some proven low-tech methods that still work just fine today. The fix actually starts with controlled air exchange, not by turning up the heat or adding more humidity. Short, deliberate ventilation periods can reset your indoor air without losing the warmth stored in your home's structure. Just opening 2 windows on opposite sides of the house for about 5 to 10 minutes, once or twice a day, creates a quick air swap without really cooling down your furniture or walls. This is a lot like the old historical airing practices, and it immediately helps cut down on airborne irritants. Now, when it comes to heat, it should be kept steady instead of cranking it up and down. Big temperature swings will dry out the air too quickly and actually cause condensation problems. If you keep your home at a moderate, consistent warmth, moisture stays suspended more evenly, and you're less likely to see your walls getting saturated. Sleeping areas, well, they really need some special attention. Bedrooms are often where the air gets the worst, since doors stay closed for hours at a time. Just slightly cracking a door or making sure there's some passive airflow can help prevent that nighttime coughing and that tight feeling in your chest come morning. Folks in older households rarely slept in sealed rooms for exactly this reason. Now, interior moisture sources really ought to be vented intentionally. Cooking steam, kettle vapor, and bathing moisture shouldn't just be allowed to drift all over the house. Back in the day, kitchens and wash areas were separated and, well, heavily ventilated. Modern homes need that same kind of discipline, even if it means just cracking a window for a bit during winter. If you find yourself waking up coughing every winter morning, you might want to try ventilating the bedroom for about 10 minutes before you go to sleep and then again when you wake up, even if it's cold outside. The temperature in the room will bounce back pretty quick, but honestly, lung irritation often gets better within just a few days. If you notice damp patches behind furniture on exterior walls, pull furniture back slightly to allow air circulation and reduce condensation. Older homes avoided pushing large pieces directly against cold walls for this reason. If your house feels stuffy but your skin and throat feel dry, reduce heat output slightly and introduce brief cross-ventilation rather than adding moisture. This restores balance instead of masking the problem. This knowledge matters because it protects both health and shelter. The winter air mistake is not harmless. It weakens lungs, encourages chronic coughing, and quietly damages the structure meant to protect you. The solution is not modern gadgets, but older wisdom applied deliberately. Controlled airflow, moderate heat, and respect for how air and moisture behave indoors kept previous generations healthier through harsher winters than most experience today. If this kind of practical, historically grounded knowledge matters to you, subscribe to Warfield Prepper Chronicles, share this guide with others who value real skills over modern myths, and keep these lessons alive for the winters ahead.